Greetings, everybody. Stress, anxiety, panic attack seems to affect a lot of people nowadays. So I wanted to do a short series to help people find ways that they can help themselves. So today we're going to talk about the birth of the rat race. Now, in my previous video, Food, Energy, and Anxiety, I didn't plan on having a series, so I didn't put that it was the first part. But I talked about the energy of food and how food can actually trigger anxiety. If you're eating unnatural food, food with a lot of preservative that have had glyphosate sprayed on it, can cause anxiety. So if you haven't watched that video, watch it. It might give you a clue as to why you may be anxious. But there are many different reasons to be anxious. Today, we're going to talk about time. So once upon a time, we had time. We woke up when the sun rose and we went to bed when the sun set, when it was dark. There was not a 24-hour work day. We took time to rest, and that was important. Then Galileo was born. He was an astronomer, a physicist, an engineer, a mathematician, philosophy in natural health, natural things. He was an Italian guy named Pisa, where the tower kind of leans, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And he gave us a microscope, the telescope, the compass. Then one day he was in a cathedral and he looked up and he saw that the chandelier was swinging because it was windy up there. And he calculated the swing of that chandelier, saying that the time period of a simple pendulum is directly proportional to the square root of its length. There we got a pendulum. Few years later, Christian Huygens invented the pendulum clock. He gave us a clock, a pendulum that would sway 86,400 times a day. We have 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day. There you have it. Time was born. It was a calculation of time was born. No longer did we meet when the sun was up or when the sun set. We became precise. We had a clock. We could calculate time. We could clock at what time we did this or that activity. And one interesting fact that nobody really understands is if you put some of those pendulum clocks on the wall after a certain time, they will all move in harmony. Now, mathematician can calculate the level or the lapse or the oscillation, but they have not been able to understand why a pendulum would choose to go faster, to reach up to its neighbors, or slower. It seems the pendulum itself had a mind of its own. And then we, of course, have Edison with his incandescent light, direct current, and then we have Tesla with alternative current. We have artificial light. No more do we need work during the day and rest at night. We can now work 24 hours a day. Remember the Pony Express or the story about the Pony Express? It took time to a letter to go from one destination to the other. And now we have FedEx. And if you put the price in, a letter from New York can arrive in Los Angeles the same day. Time flies. So now we are asked to do always more and faster. It's become what has been called a rat race, and we're really not going anywhere. And even children are not immune to the rat race. I remember one of my grandkids saying that, Grandma, I don't have time. And he was 8 or 9 years old. And I know some parents who say the same thing. My children don't have time anymore. And that was a subject that was never talked about when I was growing up. We had time to play outside. We had time to do activities in a peaceful manner. There was no rat race. And eventually, finally, it's too much. So what do we do? Well, some people choose a solution of taking drugs. But drugs really don't talk about the problems. They kind of cover the symptoms of stress, but it doesn't change anything. We could have a better solution. It's nature. Spending some time in nature helps to diminish that anxiety, that stress, because our body, mind, soul, and spirit all need nature. Sometimes we don't feel good. There is something missing, or we don't know why we're anxious. And it could simply be that our bodies, our minds are craving to be out in nature. I remember when I was growing up, we had plenty of time for nature. I used to go take nature walks on my own when I was a teenager, going up in the forest for hours with my parents. Usually on the weekend, we would go walk in the forest or up in mountains, meeting my uncle with three cousins. And yeah, I grew up in Switzerland, so we had mountains, but there is a place in nature, even if it's just taking your lunch to a park, be in nature. It's important for your health. So strategies. In the first part, we talked about food. Eat natural, healthy food with high energy designed for you. And two, do not let time destroy you and put nature back in your life. And without the watch, spend some time in nature without the watch, the cell phone, or any kind of device that will remind you it's time, it's time, it's time, run, run, run. No, relax, peaceful in nature. It will do you a lot of good. You have any comments? You have a question? Don't hesitate to contact me. thechampionmind.com/calendar. You can set up a session. It's free, it's confidential, it's personal. I may be able to find something or a direction that can help you, so don't hesitate. thechampionmind.com/calendar. Let's have a talk. And I'll see you soon for the next part of this little mini series. Take care of your health. Go to nature. Enjoy it.